good, YouTube? It's your boy BossManWann, aka Wann Yeezy, aka Wando. And yes, sir, man. Today we are reacting to how the Boston Celtics ruined a dynasty, man. Now look, this was on my react to list for a while now, bro. I just never got into it because I was busy. But right now, specifically right now, I think it's the perfect time for us to react to this video. You feel what I'm saying? Now look, bro, this is a video about how my Celtics ruined a dynasty. What dynasty did we have, bro? I don't remember the dynasty, bro. You know what I'm saying? So let's tune into this and see what the business is, man. And yeah, bro, I got my popcorn ready right here. You feel me? And my fruit punch. You feel what I'm saying? So this is gonna be a good one. We got a 30-minute vid. So yes, sir, man. Let's get into it.
This year has been an atrocity for Kyrie. Now they have so many.
In my opinion, I think it went downhill when we traded for Kyrie, bro. To be honest with you, but let's see what he's talking about. And yeah.
Individual parts. They're not a team.
When I look at the team, what I see are guys who don't want to play with Kyrie.
5 remaining. Tatum drives down.
Wow. Amazing moment. Amazing moments. Beautiful moments. How did Boston Celtics ruin a dynasty? Let me know. Talk to me. I think it started when we traded for Kyrie, though.
The year is summer 2018.
Let's see.
The Boston Celtics were once looked at as overwhelming favorites to take home the NBA championship. Their roster was about as stacked as it could get. With overwhelming depth and immense star power, the chances of failing seemed very small.
Facts.
Their front office was elite. Danny Ainge was known as one of the best general managers in the league, and Brad Stevens had people questioning if he would.
I don't know if y'all know by now, but I'm not a big fan of Brad Stevens, bro. I wanted him out the back door, but instead of him going out the back door, bro, they put him upstairs. They put him on an elevator instead of the back door. You feel me? So I'm not really a big fan of Brad Stevens, but at the time when he first got to us, he was doing some things, and I was feeling them, but not really a big fan, bro. Overhyped.
Was more valuable than all-star level players. Kyrie Irving seemed more than pleased with the situation he was in, and re-signing with Boston seemed inevitable. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had just defied expectations in the playoffs, emerging as one of the best young duos in the league,
yes, sir.
Finishing one game shy of the NBA Finals.
Yes,
Despite
sir.
what seemed to be a promising situation, the Celtics have never again made it as far as they did in 2018. The reason for this collapse resides on many key factors, some that were in the Celtics' control and others that weren't.
Oh, 2019 actually, because we went to the conference finals in 2019 as well, bro, during the bubble season. So, yeah.
People thought that they were too good to fail, that they were this unbeatable team that had nothing but 60-win seasons and finals appearances ahead of them. Unfortunately, what lied ahead were no banners, no trophies, but miserable failure. Many will tell you the same old tale, that Kyrie Irving and his locker room antics sunk the ship, that he destroyed the team chemistry, and that was the end of it. Kyrie may have played a negative role in the Celtics' downfall, but their issues stemmed much further than just poor chemistry. This is the real story about the rise and fall of the Boston Celtics.
Okay. Oh man, the good old days. The good old days. Wait, what? Oh, the trades. Oh, these are trades. Oh my lord. Isaiah Thomas, my boy. My boy Isaiah Thomas, man. LeBron. Again,
the trade
by
that
JT.
kickstarted the Celtics we see today was the infamous Brooklyn-Boston trade. The C's sent Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Nets for a haul of first-round picks. Of course, now it's more natural to trade players for picks, but back then it wasn't as common. We all know how this trade turned out. It's one of the greatest hauls from a deal in basketball history. The forgotten aspect of this move is that throughout Boston's rebuild process, they didn't actually have to rebuild. They were allowed to go all in and trade for win-now acquisitions because they still had a top draft pick waiting for them. This made an already successful culture even more appealing, and one that many big-name free agents were interested in. Another notable moment was when the Celtics traded Doc Rivers. Yes, traded him to the Clippers for a future first-round pick. Doc was a championship-caliber coach.
I know we traded Doc Rivers.
Want to be a part of the rebuilding process. As a replacement, Boston signed Brad Stevens, who had been slowly working himself up the coaching totem pole, most recently being the head coach at Butler University. Stevens was seen as a promising development guy who could stick around long-term and help re-energize the franchise. The 2013-14 season was the one year that Boston truly tanked. The roster lacked talent, only finishing with 25 wins for the first time since 2007. The most notable moment of that season didn't come while the Celtics were playing basketball.
Jay Green.
In the 2014 draft, they selected Marcus Smart with the 6th overall pick, who is now the longest tenured Celtic.
Yes, sir.
Smart has evolved into a fantastic defensive role player who's beloved by the fans. An excellent pick for sure, and this would be the first of many early lottery selections that would prove to be scouted by teams in the front office. The 2014-15 season for Boston saw them exceeding expectations. People didn't know what to think about this group, and when they traded longtime point guard Rajon Rondo in December of 2014, many believed they had lost their identity. Trading Rondo truly marked the end of an era for Boston. The 08 championship team had been split, and the package included...
I hate that the fact that we traded everybody, bro. Like we didn't have Paul Pierce retire with us. We didn't have Kevin Garnett retire with us. We didn't have Rondo retire with us. We didn't have no long time Celtics legends retire on the Celtics, bro. We got rid of them, bro. And that's something I don't like about my Celtics, bro. We just a business. You feel me? There's no family involved. You feel me? There's no love involved. You feel what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. I don't know, bro. That's
included a little-known Jay Crowder in picks. This would turn out to be a solid return for Boston, as Rondo declined when reaching Dallas. Crowder, on the other hand, would turn out to be a valued role player who would prove to have solid trade value down the line.
He's nice.
After finishing with a measly record of 20-31 at the All-Star break, more of the same losing was expected. However, what came was unexpected. Right before the 2015 trade deadline came to a close, the Celtics landed 5'9" point guard Isaiah Thomas Thornton in a first-round pick. Isaiah had been bouncing around teams his whole career and was looking to establish himself as an all-star talent. On this team, he had a chance to do just that. The C's went 20-11 in their last 31 games. A team of good role players came together and played as one, with IT leading the way. Brad Stevens also began to emerge as one of the top coaches in the league, elevating his players as the team squeaked into the postseason. In the 2015 playoffs, they got swept by LeBron and the Cavs. An unsurprising ending to a surprising season. Boston showed that they were no easy foe. Those who believed they would tank for a few years were shocked as the Celtics' run in the second half of the season showed that they could be a playoff team. In the 2015,
bro, I remember this guy. I remember this guy right here, bro. I forgot his name. Williams. I remember this guy right here, bro. Where'd he go? And this is I think Jericho.
The season showed that they could be a playoff team. In the 2015 draft, Boston
selected
point guard Terry Rozier with the 16th pick. Rozier has proven to be a valuable NBA player who's had a ton of great moments for the Celtics, even earning the nickname Scary Terry.
Yes, sir. I remember this.
The 2015-16 season began with high expectations for Boston, with a team of a few young guys, good role players, and an emerging star in Isaiah Thomas. The playoffs were more than realistic. Right before the All-Star break, they began heating up, winning 13 out of their last 17. Isaiah Thomas emerged as a star player, earning his first All-Star appearance.
Yes, sir.
22 and 6.
Yes,
he was one of the most crafty scorers in the league and had the heart of a lion. Marcus Smart showed that he was capable of being a great defender at the next level too, while Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Evan Turner performed
Team of defenders.
The most notable moment of that season was when the Celtics beat the 68-7 Golden State Warriors on their home floor.
Yes, sir.
A phenomenal showing from everyone in green. This team had hearts and wasn't afraid of anything.
Good old days.
Their first home
Good old days, baby. Good old days.
Loss in a year and a half. You could make the argument Isaiah Thomas outdueled Steph Curry in this game, A guy who was unheard of by many just a few years ago outdueled the MVP. The 2016 playoffs saw Boston take the 5th seed, as 4 teams had the exact same record in the East. The C's faced the Hawks in the playoffs, Atlanta having won 60 games the previous season. Game 3 of that series saw Isaiah Thomas put up 42 points.
Oh my lord!
Threes,
Oh my
clutch
lord!
Shot after clutch shot to save
42.
Game 4 saw more of the same from Thomas, as he hit a tough layup to send it to OT. Then in overtime,
Love you, Thomas.
Thomas hit this off-balance 3 to put the dagger into ATL. An incredible shot that he made look easy. The Celtics dropped the final 2 games of that series and lost in 6, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
But the future was very bright in Boston.
IT went crazy though.
Which, do you remember the Nets trade that started all of this? Well, it turns out those picks have become quite valuable. In fact, Brooklyn was so terrible this past season that their pick was 3rd overall, meaning the Celtics take that pick. A team that just made the playoffs and battled with Atlanta will now have an opportunity to add a top prospect to their team. How could you not be excited about that? The 2016 draft arrived with questions from Boston. The first 2 picks of that draft were obvious, but everything outside of that was unknown. Jaylen Brown was selected with the 3rd pick, a raw prospect with the potential to be.
Ben Simmons win that draft, and Brandon Ingram win that draft, bro. Jaylen Brown also win that draft as well, and Donovan Mitchell. I feel like, besides Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown probably the second best player in that draft, bro. As far as I can remember, bro, 'cause I know for a fact he's better than Brandon Ingram, and for a fact he's better than freaking Ben Simmons, bro. That's a fact. Donovan Mitchell's kind of iffy, but Jaylen Brown is probably the second best player in that draft, bro. As far as I can remember, bro. Who else was in that draft? I can't remember. Yeah, bro, that guy, man.
A big-time athlete who needed to gain a jump shot to reach that next level. Some were confused by this pick, as Brown wasn't projected to go anywhere near the top 3, and others considered it a reach pick. It's easy to look back now and say the selection made sense, but many forget that this pick received much scrutiny from fans and NBA media alike.
Not at first, though. Cause he shot a lot of shots, bro. I remember specifically, I ain't like Brown at first, bro. I remember this. I did not like him at first, but then he started warming up to me.
And the Celtics landed Al Horford as their star signing. Horford was a veteran big who could space the floor and provide great defense. His signing with Boston showed the league that the Celtics were back as a free agent destination. Boston could have tanked and nobody would have blamed them, but instead they remained competitive and kept a winning culture, and were now reaping the benefits of doing so. The 2016-17 season had even higher expectations for Boston. We get it, this team can make the playoffs, but fans were tired of first-round exits. They wanted more. Seeing Isaiah Thomas perform the way he did in the playoffs made you hungry to witness what he'd do this season. The development of the young guys was also something to watch. It was time for Marcus Smart and Terry Rozier to show what they were made of. The Celtics ended up having a great season, finally hitting that 50-win mark and earning the #1 seed in the East. Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Marcus Smart provided fantastic perimeter defense. Scary Terry was an elite bench player, and Al Horford was a valuable rim protector, as Brad Stevens continued to assert himself as one of the best coaches in the game. All of this was great, but perhaps the most incredible part about this team was that they were led by a 5'9" guard in Isaiah Thomas.
That was crazy.
IT had his best season as a pro, jumping from an all-star to an MVP candidate.
Yes, sir.
Every single
30, man. He was, bro. That's crazy to me, bro. This guy was the last pick in the draft, bouncing from team to team to team, bro. And all of a sudden, he's an MVP player, bro. MVP caliber player, bro. That's absurd that we messed this man money up and we messed, you know what I mean? That's crazy to me, bro. That's tough.
35.
Think about that, bro. Is that the first time in history that this ever happened, bro? It has to be, bro. A guy who got drafted last is the MVP, bounced around the league, is now MVP candidate, bro. Damn, that's crazy to me.
Quarter takeovers.
He was going stupid.
Fiery teams in Celtics history erupted as the #1 seed, when just 3 years previous they were at the bottom of the East.
Oh man.
The 2017 playoffs
good days,
the Celtics
good times.
faced the biggest expectations in years. They faced off against the hungry Chicago Bulls in round 1, dropping the first 2 games in embarrassing fashion, as critics immediately began calling them the worst #1 seed in NBA history. Luckily, the C's bounced back and won the next 4 to close out the series and escape NBA infamy. even if it took a Rajon Rondo injury. After what was considered a shaky showing versus Chicago, fans were excited to see how Boston would prove themselves against the Washington Wizards. This series ended up being one of the most memorable in recent history. Both teams battled it out and went to 7. By far, the greatest moment was when Isaiah Thomas dropped 53 points in Game 2. One of the best postseason performances of all time. Boston went back home in Game 7 and closed it out, with unlikely heroes leading the way. Say all you want about this team, but they still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, just barely escaping a fierce fight with DC. The Cavaliers came next in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Celtics got absolutely destroyed in 5 games. The first 2 games were disgustingly embarrassing. The Celtics were blown out in record amounts. Then to add on, Isaiah Thomas was sidelined with a hip injury following halftime of Game 2. Boston was dead in the water, only winning 1 game out of 5, that being a Game 3 W that included an Avery Bradley game winner. Their season was a disappointing but expected ending. However, there was one positive from this messy finish. Remember those Nets picks? Speaking of Brooklyn, the Nets had fallen to the worst team in the league, and they had no first-round picks to show for it.
Nets demise! This is Nets demise at his finest, bro.
Those picks went to Boston, and the Celtics.
And look at their picks.
And they had no first-round picks.
They hit all our picks.
Those picks.
They got Sniper Joe Harris, they got Booker, they got Jeremy Lin, LeVert, Hamilton, and Anthony freaking Bennett. This is Nets demise at his finest, bro. I like LeVert though. LeVert's nice. Lynn Sandy was crazy, and Sniper Joe Harris is a sniper. You know what I'm saying? So
picks went to Boston.
But other than that, bro, finesse them boys. Nets demise.
And the Celtics were rewarded with the #1 pick. A #1 seeded team that just went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Finesse them.
The #1 pick. The choices for the top spot seemed obvious, with point guard Markelle Fultz being the answer. The Celtics, however, for whatever reason, decided.
I went to school with this guy right here, man. I went to school with him, play ball with him. You know what I'm saying? Not bragging or anything, but I get this guy buckets. You know what I'm saying? He might not remember it, but I do. Facts. No cap though, that's facts though.
Trading down with Philly and selecting Jason Tatum with the 3rd pick. The decision to trade down and then draft Tatum was criticized by many. Fultz seemed like the surefire best prospect, so skipping on him could be a disastrous move. The Celtics didn't care. They loved the offensively polished Jason Tatum. So much so that Danny Ainge claimed he would have selected him with the 1st overall pick had they not traded down. In back-to-back drafts, the C's took 2 huge leaps of faith, and those leaps of faith ended up producing the 2 best prospects from their classes. Free agency
crazy, right?
began, and for weeks the
Beautiful
Celtics
picks.
were constantly mentioned with all-star forward Gordon Hayward. His signing with Boston would add another all-star caliber player alongside Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford, making the Celtics even more of a threat in the East.
Exactly.
Once free agency began, Hayward quickly received a max contract as joy spread in the city of Boston.
I was happy.
Marcus Morris also joined the fray, being acquired in a trade with Avery Bradley. It was already quite the offseason. A star free agent and shocking draft trade put Boston in a more than comfortable spot. Despite all of that,
I felt so good.
They still didn't believe that they were good enough. The Celtics needed more star power to take them to the top. Then they smelled blood in the air. It was time to strike. July 21st, 2017 was the day star point guard Kyrie Irving shocked the world and requested a trade from the Cavs. The request didn't make much sense at the time, but it didn't need to. The Celtics heard this and were willing to give up their chest of assets in order to get him.
Crazy.
A month later, a trade was finalized. The Celtics gave up Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, the 2018 Nets first-round pick, and Isaiah Thomas. Crowder was a useful role player this past season. Zizic hadn't gotten any playing time. The Nets' first-round pick was once again expected to be high in the lottery, and IT was an MVP candidate. This was the price to pay for a champion in Kyrie Irving. A price to pay that seemed worth it. Irving was a clear upgrade over Isaiah Thomas.
I can't lie to you, bro. I was literally... I had mixed feelings about this, bro. I was happy, but I was sad at the same time, bro. It was bittersweet. I was happy that we got Kyrie Irving, bro. This man is a champion, bro. His handles is crazy. He's a top 3-point guard in the league, bro. You feel what I'm saying? I was incredibly happy to get Kyrie Irving, bro. But at the same time, losing Isaiah Thomas, bro, that hurt me. After what he went through with his sister, bro, in the playoffs and still perform like a freaking man amongst boys, bro. That was crazy to me. That was inspirational to me. But then it was like, it's like, is it a business one, or do you have to have some type of level of respect in the business as well, bro? I didn't know what to think at this time, bro. I was happy though. I was happy, but I was sad at the same time, bro. I think I was more happy than sad, because I thought a championship was coming, but the fact that we did that to Isaiah Thomas, a championship wasn't deserving of us. You feel me? In my opinion. But and then look what this guy did. He hit the deuces on us, bro. He got out of there, bro. He hit the back door on us, bro, and went to the Brooklyn Nets and stepped on our low and disrespected our franchise, bro. We did Isaiah Thomas wrong, bro. We should, man, bro. Always have respect and morals in the business or whatever you're doing, bro. You got to, man, because right now it's biting us in the cheeks right now. Sheesh.
Thomas. Yes, Kyrie wasn't a good defender, but he also wasn't a complete liability like IT. Kyrie was also on the same level on offense and didn't have a detrimental hip injury. That's right. One thing that the Celtics were pretty quiet about was the health of Isaiah Thomas. It turns out that IT played hurt in the playoffs.
Crazy.
After the 53-point game, his numbers were putrid, and this was solely because of his health. Thomas wouldn't play for the first few months of the following season, then was sidelined once again for surgery. He was never again the same player. The time to win was now. The 2017-18 season began with monumental expectations for the Celtics. This was,
and most importantly, never got his bag that he was deserved of. Never got that bag. You know how Dennis Schroeder fumbled his bag? That's Dennis Schroeder fumbled his bag, bro. My Celtics fumbled Isaiah Thomas' bag. You feel me? Terrible, bro.
the culmination of everything Boston had worked towards
What's
following
my
a big
popcorn?
free trade. The
My-
deepest
my
roster
bowl.
in the league. It all began on opening night 2017.
I remember this day.
Celtics let the future rivalry begin. It's amazing how the entire future of a franchise can be changed in one moment. Gordon Hayward's horrific leg injury on opening night would sideline him for the rest of the season. Just like that, everything
Just like that, on opening night, first game, we got Kyrie Irving, we got Gordon Hayward, we got Jaylen Brown, Jay Tatum, Scary Terry, I think we still have Scary Terry. And boom! Just like that, Gordon Hayward will never be the same and never was the same. Wow.
changed. It was time for players to step
Yeah,
up
we had
into
Scary
their
Terry.
new roles. It was time for Kyrie Irving to fully take over as the leader of this squad. From then on, they proceeded to win 16 straight games, with Tatum and Brown looking like young stars in the making. Kyrie Irving also caught fire as well, and role players like Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, and Marcus Morris all shined. They climbed to a 40-19
Oh my Lord,
record at
Brown.
the All-Star break. The team had phenomenal chemistry and played with heart. Everything looked great until tragedy struck once again for the guys in green. Kyrie Irving, the star point guard who'd been playing excellent basketball, started having knee issues that sidelined him for multiple games. Then in early April, it was announced Irving would miss the rest of the season, an absolute knife to the heart for Boston. Everything the team had worked towards
Tough.
was erased. What's the point now when your best player is gone? They struggled, losing 4 out of their last 6, ending the season at the second seed with a record of 55-27. A fantastic overall record. The team had improved greatly, but it was hard to ignore the elephant in the room. Boston now lacked their 2 best players heading into the postseason. The 2018 playoffs began with Game 1 at TD Garden, the opponent being the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks were young and inexperienced, with their best player being a 23-year-old Greek freak. Game 1 was a thriller, and it seemed like Boston would get the win as Terry Rozier hit a clutch 3
Buzzer
with
beater.
little time on the
I
clock.
remember that.
Chris Middleton responded though, hitting a miracle
Oh, I remember
triple
this too.
to tie it and send the game to OT. The
Bro, this
shot-
game was crazy. I wasn't even doing YouTube at the time, bro. Imagine me doing YouTube at this era, bro. Oh my Lord, I would have went so berserk, bro. I would have went so crazy, bro. Man, I wish I was doing YouTube at here, bro. Oh my Lord, this is a peak area right here, bro. No COVID, no nothing related, bro. Just straight hooping. Straight. Everybody healthy besides our 2-star players, but besides the whole league was fairly healthy, bro. Damn, bro. Man, I wish I would start YouTube earlier, bro, just to. Oh man, it's tough. I like these are great times though, bro. Great times.
Won in overtime to take
Great
the
times,
1-0
bro.
lead. In a decisive Game 5, Al Horford stepped up to the plate with 22 points. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown weren't half bad either. The Bucks wouldn't go away though, winning Game 6 to force a do-or-die Game 7, which the Celtics ended up winning with ease. Boston had advanced to the second round, which was an exciting achievement, but many believed the underdog story would come to a close versus the Sixers. Philly was electric, led by promising rookie Ben Simmons and star center Joel Embiid. The Sixers were favored by many to defeat the injury-riddled Celtics. As we know, this was far from the case. Boston schooled the Sixers as Jason Tatum shined. Brown and Tatum were legit, the two high picks for Boston.
Y'all remember earlier in the season when the 76ers played my Celtics, bro, and we won the game, and then at the end of the game, the Celtics broadcaster said Tatum is Joel Embiid's father, bro. This is why they say that. This is exactly why they say that. I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? I like to be humble. But this is exactly why they say that, bro. This is exactly why they say Tatum is Joel Embiid's father, bro. You feel me? I'm not with all that type of disrespect, but this is exactly why.
Boston, that received much scrutiny, were now top playoff performers.
They was hating on us.
Game 3 was the highlight of the series, as it looked like the Celtics were dead in the water.
It was hating on us.
Al Horford and Jaylen Brown saved the day in crunch time to seal the series. On to the next round. It was a rematch versus LeBron and the Cavs, although this time both sides looked quite different. LBJ was a running one-man show. No second star around him. This could be the perfect opportunity to knock the king off his throne. Boston had a...
That was LeBron's best year. This was LeBron's best year. One of his greatest years. This was it. He was a one-man army. Legit. This is why I respect him so highly, bro. He's a one-man army. I wish we had Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, bro. Maybe things would have been different, but maybe not. I don't know. LeBron James was different, bro. He was scary, legit.
A 3-2 lead in the series, and we're 48 minutes away from the ultimate stage. This was it, the closest the Celtics have gotten to the finals since 2010, and it was a run unlike anything we've ever seen before. We all know how this story goes. LeBron James plays out of his mind and carries the Cavs to the finals, winning the last 2 games as the C's suffered heartbreak. In Game 7, Boston's play was subpar, only scoring 79 points total and collapsing down the stretch. Their lack of experience finally got to them when they were just a few minutes away from the promised land. The Celtics made no major changes in the offseason. They wanted to keep the squad together and run it back healthy.
Facts.
The 2018 draft saw Danny Ainge selecting Robert Williams out of Texas A&M.
Time
Lord.
Lord.
Developed into a promising big man with a contract extension to his name. Another good selection by the front office. This remarkable postseason run was without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, both who were considered the top 2 players on the team. Add them back into the mix of things, and yeah, you have massive expectations on your hands. That was the belief at the time. The Celtics would be running the East. The Celtics would challenge the Warriors in the finals. The Celtics would.
That's what it would have been.
There was even more hype when.
That's what it should have been, bro. That's exactly what it should have been. No cap. Charles Barkley, Celtics now team to be in the East for the next 10 years. Wow. Don't want to think about that.
Kyrie implied he'd be re-signing with the team in front of TD Garden.
Cap.
You guys will have me back. I plan on re-signing here next year.
It all started on open.
I was the first one to see that and say he's lying, bro. Everybody else around me, even my friend, was saying like, "Juan, what are you talking about?" He said it. I looked him in his face and said, "Bro, he's lying. Look at his body language. I can read this guy like a book. I read body language, bro. I read emotions, bro. And I could just tell that Kyrie Irving was lying, bro. And I was the first person to say it, bro. First person, bro. I said, bro, he's lying. And then as soon as you know it, he went somewhere else.
opening night 2018.
That's crazy.
Sixers Celtics at TD Garden, and Boston blew the Sixers out the gym. This huge W would confirm what we already believed. The Celtics had it all and would be making a finals run this season.
Oh my lord.
Well, 20 games into the season, the Celtics sat at 10-10, a 500 record. Not exactly what people had hoped for, but slow starts happen all the time, and an 8-game winning streak brought a sigh of relief to Boston. Then more losing, then another few wins. Wait a second. It quickly became apparent that this team was a bit inconsistent. A record of 37-21 at the All-Star
Wow, just like right now.
break wasn't bad by any means, but remember, this team was supposed to be one of the best the league had to offer, and they weren't. Locker room issues took the headlines, whether it was Kyrie and his free agency decisions, or Marcus Morris and Jaylen Brown having a shoving match on the bench. It was nothing but pouty faces and drama. Kyrie's post-game comments didn't help much either. When questioned about his free agency decisions, the once optimistic Irving said, "Ask me on July 1st.
Ask me July 1st.
Reminder, just a few months earlier, it appeared he was dead set on remaining a Celtic, but now, not so much. Right before the All-Star break, the Celtics blew a 26-point lead to the Clippers, being booed.
Wow! Deja vu! It's happening again! In 2022! The same thing is happening. We're blowing leads. So it's not Brad Stevens. It's just our team. What is it? Is it a locker room? What is it? Could we doing the same thing? Maybe it's still Brad Stevens, maybe. Maybe Brad Stevens is still trying to be the coach upstairs, maybe. I have no idea. But the same thing is happening now that was happening then. We're blowing leads, we're losing games, we're the most inconsistent team. We got high expectations, and we're not exceeding those expectations at all. What the hell?
Booed off the court. Just when you thought they'd gotten their rhythm, they collapsed. The team never recovered. These struggles continued for the rest of the season as Boston finished with just 49 wins total, a fraction of what they were expected to have entering the season. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown didn't make the leaps that were hoped for. Gordon Hayward didn't return to his all-star self. Terry Rozier didn't expand on his fantastic playoff performances, and Kyrie Irving was not the leader the Celtics so desperately needed. The roster was too talented. There were too many mouths to feed, too many individual players, not a team. To add on to the pain, Marcus Smart also suffered an injury in a meaningless game against the Orlando Magic, and would be sidelined for a majority of the playoffs. Despite all of this, there was still hope the Celtics could click come playoff time. The underachievers could become the overachievers. Maybe the regular season wasn't cut out for them. They first faced off against the Indiana Pacers, who were missing their star player in Victor Oladipo, and swept them with ease. Kyrie dropped 37 in Game 2. The Celtics closed out efficiently down the wire. All of the promising signs were there. Was Boston ready to show what they were made of? Round 2. In Game 1 against the #1 seeded Bucks, they dominated in a win. Uncle Drew played incredible. Al Horford locked up Giannis. The Celtics looked like everything was beginning to click, and they surprised many with this victory. Was this the explosion we've been waiting for all this time? The NBA media certainly believe so. Paul Pierce going as far as to say this series was over.
Of course Paul Pierce is going to say that. Of course. It was far from over, actually.
Whoa. So is this over?
No, listen, I think it's over.
Game 2 arrived, and Boston stuck with it until a third-quarter run by the Bucks put things to bed. There was no panic, though. The Celtics had a chance to take a commanding lead going back home. In Game 3, they led by as much as 12 in the second quarter, but blew it. A second straight L. Game 4 followed the same pattern.
4-1.
Just like that, the Celtics were down 3-1. We were once again harshly reminded of the truth with this team. They were inconsistent and didn't have what it took to be contenders. This was all but confirmed in Game 5 when the Bucks blew out the Celtics. No ending was more fitting than the shots of the Boston bench looking mentally exhausted. The inevitable was already in the air. Kyrie.
Yo, look at Kyrie! So nonchalant. He doesn't even care. No feelings involved. He said, bro, I can't wait to get out of here. He just think about his future. Can't wait to get out of here, bro. Can't wait to lead these guys, bro. Look at him, bro. He doesn't care. He doesn't have no, like, look at his face, bro. You can tell, like, bro, this ain't my team, bro. I'm only here because they traded me here. I don't really want to ball for the Celtics, bro. I want to get out of here. to be honest with you. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna thug it out until the time is right. This man Kyrie cracked me up, bro.
He wasn't coming back. And speaking of him, Kyrie Irving was perhaps the biggest disappointment in all of this. He shot 35% from the field.
Playing terrible.
From three
He played terrible. I remember this.
You could make a solid argument that he was actively throwing games for the team.
Exactly.
No effort on the offensive
Exactly.
end. Just a shot-chucking nightmare.
Exactly.
The reason he requested a trade from the Cavs in the first place was to be the #1 option on a contender. Yet when given that chance, he failed miserably. The 2018-19 season was a complete meltdown.
He said, I'm going to keep on shooting. I remember this. I remember his interview. He said, I'm going to keep on shooting. That's what I do. I'm going to keep on shooting, bro.
In every way imaginable. But there was no time to think about that as the 2019 draft arrived quickly. Boston chose Romeo Langford in the lottery, a young player who has potential but hasn't shown it just yet.
He has no
they
potential.
also
He's done.
selected Matisse Thybulle, but traded him for Grant Williams and
We traded Matisse Thybulle, a defensive player, so defensive that he's candidate for the defensive player of the year, and we traded him away for Grant Williams. He should be on the Celtics, going stupid.
Carson Edwards.
And Carson Edwards, we traded him for Carson Edwards, a guy who's. And Grant Williams, bro. Oh my goodness. What? Oh my lord. That was terrible.
Being a poor decision, Matisse has grown into a valuable role player with huge defensive potential, while Williams and Edwards haven't been able to crack consistent minutes. Then the 2019 offseason arrived, with some surprises and disappointments. For one, Al Horford shockingly left the team to join the Sixers. Philly gave him a hefty contract that Boston
for what? I still lost.
And just like that, an all-star had left. Not only that, Kyrie Irving then departed to Brooklyn, which was expected but discouraging. Many believed just a year ago that he'd be a Celtic for life, but in what seemed like the snap of a finger, he left. Irving received much of the blame for the team's collapse. Fair or not, it doesn't matter. That's how it'll be remembered. There were still options available for the Celtics, one of them being all-star Kemba Walker. He signed the max with Boston. The Kyrie replacement was here. Marcus Morris, Aaron Baines, and Terry Rozier all walked with mediocre replacement, a massive loss in depth. And that is how the Celtics squandered what seemed like an unstoppable championship team. Some factors were in their control, and others weren't. Nobody could have predicted the 2019 Celtics playing as poorly as they did, but with a 35-20 record at the trade deadline, changes seemed necessary to keep the contending hopes alive. No trades came though. The team that had tons of reported locker room issues remained the absolute same after the trade deadline. They should have traded Marcus Morris and Terry Rozier, two players who they let walk in free agency, but they didn't. Had they done so, they would have removed two ball stoppers and made the locker room more clear. But Danny Ainge felt staying put was better. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum did not take the steps that many hoped they would, and Gordon Hayward took a giant step back from his past.
Look at now, though. Look at now. Look at what they're doing now. Hey, talk about leap.
All-star level. Kyrie Irving
still have no leader on the court though. We need Jason Tatum to be that leader though, man. That's the only thing, to be that vocal leader. You know, that's the only thing, bro. But he performs well. Sometimes shoots, you know what I'm saying, shoots crazy like, but he performs well. He does his thing. Jaylen Brown goes crazy, but we need that locker room. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just that leadership.
Didn't do them any favors with his post-game comments, and had one of the worst playoff performances in NBA history against the Bucks. All of it came crumbling down in what seemed like an instant. The 2017-18 season was special because the guys in green played their roles. They knew how to contribute and what it took to win. Then Kyrie got injured, which opened up opportunity for the rest of the team. Boston had an incredible playoff run in 2018. So many players stepped up without the two All-Stars. Irving and Hayward then returned a few months later, which forced all of the players who stepped up in the postseason to go back into smaller roles, and that was a recipe for disaster. The level of instability
Facts.
the Celtics face in the current year wasn't present a few years ago. It seems like just yesterday, the world was talking about how Boston would be running the Eastern Conference, and now something like a finals appearance seems very far away. 2017-18 saw them have one of the most talented rosters in
Crazy,
recent
bro.
NBA history,
Crazy.
and in the matter of a
Look at
year
this
and a half,
team. Look at this. Look at this team, bro. Look at this team. Jason Tatum, Jalen freaking Brown, Big Al Horford, and Marcus Smart, and don't forget Kyrie Irving, bro. What? What, bro? And you mean we ain't get to no finals? Pathetic.
it all imploded. You can look at the Celtics' future now and
Oh my
feel
lord.
excited about what's to come. They have two of the most talented young guys in the league. They're going to be fun to watch. While doing that, it's also okay to sit back and reflect on that 2018 squad, because the Celtics had a chance at a dynasty, and it vanished in an instant.
Hey man, I like this video, bro. I like this video because everything he said was freaking facts, bro. No cap. And all what did I say? It all went down when we traded Isaiah Thomas, bro. Ironically, it all went downhill from there, bro. Gordon Hayward got injured first game. He got injured. Kyrie got injured, and then they come back, and it's just never been the same, bro. And that's tough, man. Where we go from here, bro? Where do we go from here, bro? I have no idea at all. Long season ahead of us still, man, but right now ain't looking too good, but still long season, and we're gonna see what happens, bro. But anyways, man, this is a video about how the Boston Celtics ruined a dynasty, and so far, yeah, I like this video a lot, bro. It's accurate. But anyways, man, that's in the video, man. Make sure smash the like button, subscribe to the boy, and we out there.